Good evening, and welcome to Three Mans, $5. I'm your host, Jason MINK, and I'm just enjoying a little bit of H.P. Lovecraft. 'Tis the season, after all, wouldn't you say so? That's right, I was reading H.P. Lovecraft's Herbert West, Re-Animator, and what a fun story that is. If you've never read it, I can't recommend it enough. It's appeared in a number of different editions. We have it here in the Arkham House edition of Dagon and Other Macabre Tales, and this is certainly a swell book to have. Many of you may be more familiar with H.P. Lovecraft's Re-Animator in the cinematic form. That is right. Re-Animator is a film from 1985. It's a horror comedy loosely based on Lovecraft's short story Herbert West Re-Animator. The story concerns a medical student who invents a reagent which can reanimate dead bodies with hilarious results. Alongside roommate Dan, Herbert West gets into all manner of necromantic hijinks, culminating in an orgy of the dead you simply have to see to believe. The film stars legendary genre actor Jeffrey Combs as Herbert West, from a screenplay written and directed by the legendary Stuart Gordon. The two went on to work again in the Lovecraft adaptation From Beyond. The film is wonderfully cast. In addition to Jeffrey Combs, you have Bruce Abbott as helpless protagonist Dan, Barbara Crampton as Megan Halsey, and David Gale as Dr. Hill. As a Lovecraft fan, I can say that this is the way to do it. The film takes liberties with the scant source material, filling in gaps with shocking horror and macabre humor. From the sterling script to the terse direction and the brilliant soundtrack by Charles Band, Re-Animator is truly a classic of the first water. So, why are we talking about it here on Three Mans for $5? Well, it turns out that there was an action figure. That is right, and here it is. And this is produced by NECA Toys, and apparently this came out in, what does it say? 2018, and this is H.P. Lovecraft's classic tale of horror Re-Animator, and we have this lovely poster art style graphic here, and the plastic features the figure and all of the accessories that it comes with. And what it comes with is a nice little tray. We have a head that goes in the tray. That's right. If you've seen the film, you know whose head that is. We have a little vial of reagent. We have a syringe full of reagent, and we have Rufus the Cat. And, of course, we have Jeffrey Combs as the eponymous Re-Animator, and that is Herbert West. All right, so this figure comes in a nifty clamshell packaging. If you flip it around, you get some really nice photography here. Hopefully you can see that. If not, there might be a little bit of glare on there. Larry, can we do a little bit of post-production? All right, and so here it is. Now, like I said, this figure came out in 2018. That might seem like old news to some of you, and, you're right, it truly is. I'd seen this guy hanging out on the store shelves for a little while, and I kept saying, I'm going to buy that figure. I'm going to pick him up. I should add that figure to my collection. And I kept passing him by, much like Homer Simpson and Mr. T. You remember that, don't you? Mr. T, he was appearing at the mall, and, Homer, he kept saying, I'll go see him a little bit later. I'll go see him a little bit later. And then, when Homer showed up, Mr. T was gone. And when Homer asked the security guard if Mr. T would be coming back, the security guard, he said he didn't know. So I wasn't going to let that happen again. And so I picked up a copy for myself. Absolutely. So we're going to crack this guy open after this important beverage. All right. I have Stabby Joe on hand. And he's going to make it possible for us to do that very thing. And as you can see, we have our reanimated corpses here with us. And also, here's Darren. He's sitting in as well, just to make sure that things don't get completely out of hand. Actually, I don't know that I need Stabby. This appears to maybe even almost be kind of like a reopenable. If I don't bust it up too badly. I'm busting it up too badly. But I don't think I need Stabby nonetheless. We're just gonna, yeah, that's it. Yeah, there won't be any closing that up again. But that's okay, you know, because it's all about the action figure itself. But first, well, let's take a look at that fantastic hard art, and that is very, very nice. It's certainly a little too nice to throw away. I might find some way of repurposing that in some way, shape, or form. Once again, there is the photography on the back. It's all looking good. And then let's get to it. It is the big show. And I've already dropped something down my lap. Oh, there it is. Now this is the tray, the bloody tray that the head of Dr. Lancaster Hill goes in. And so here he is in his post-chopped state. And he comes in this fantastic little tray so he can say, "You bastard!" And then hit old Herbert on the head with a shovel. Let's see what else is going on here. Now, I had just watched this again for the purposes of doing this very show, and I was thinking, like, oh man, it would have been so great if they'd included Rufus the Cat in with this figure. I bought this figure. I was standing right there. I saw it. I'm like, yes, I have to have this. Somehow I didn't notice Rufus the Cat was, in fact, included, and here he is in his post, what do you call it? He's been cut up is what's gone on. This is when he'd been reanimated for the second time for the purposes of showing Dan that the reanimator fluid actually worked. And this is pretty hideous, absolutely. And that is phenomenal, man. Cheers to NECA for going above and beyond. And as far as going above and beyond, what else do we have here? This is apparently, I don't know, looks like pens and a pocket protector. I just watched the movie. I'm not quite sure of what the significance is for that particular item, but I do know what this is. And this is the shovel with which Herbert removed Dr. Hill's head. Chop, chop, chop. And as you can see, they both have a wonderful amount of blood on them. And that is phenomenal. Once again, there is NECA going above and beyond. And who can we give this to? We'll give it to Migo Frank here. Put that in his hands. All right. Maybe he has an advantage now over contemporary Migo Frank. This is the reissue right here from, I believe it was Figures Toy Company in the early aughts. Here he is. A polka, polka, polka. All right, and what's next? Stabby Joe. We do need him after all, because he's got a free Dr. West from the bonds of the rubber band that hold him in bondage Oh, man, it really does. I need to give Stabby Joe a sharpening as well. And, well, NECA certainly did a fine job in keeping him in this container. And there he is, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Dr. Herbert West in all of his glory. And you'll note that he's got his hand, and it is in the position to administer the reagent, or, to gesticulate and, basically make it a point. Or, to quote the film, make a note of it, Dan. All right. Now, as far as this figure goes, it is not a Mego-style figure. It is actually closer to a more contemporary action figure style, like a Marvel Legend. It is made of a hard plastic. It is not connected with bands, but the body parts are actually pegged in, and so they're actually a little bit firmer as far as that goes, but it's a really interesting hybrid, because ordinarily those figures don't come with cloth outfits, and as you can see, this guy has a cloth outfit from head to toe. He's got some very, very nicely tailored pants. I gotta say, these are fantastic. If I could find a pair of pants that fit me that well, I would certainly wear them. As far as it goes, his shirt is tucked down very, very nicely into his belt. One could argue that the seams might be a little bit big, but if you put the tie over top of that, well, you're certainly not going to notice. And then the lab coat, well, that really sets the whole thing off. Absolutely. Now, as far as the cons go, the collar has come up, and I can see that the tie is attached with a thread, which kind of flimsy. Ultimately, if you were going to do a thread, you could have put it under the collar. Wouldn't have been as noticeable. I might have to do a little bit of work as far as that goes. You could go as far as just taking a bit of super glue and tacking that down, but some of you might not want to do that to your figure. You could take an iron or, I don't know, some other extreme measures. I'm not going to tell you. Who knows what you get up to on your own out there once these videos are over. But as far as it goes, this figure is fantastic. I am absolutely over the moon to have picked him up. I had passed him by the first time. I'm super happy to have him now in my collection. Now, I found this guy. I had hit my local record exchange. That's right. That's a franchise, and it's all over the place. You might have one just down the street. So if you're looking for horror action figures, well, you could certainly do worse. This is Herbert West. Make a note of it, Dan. I'm Jason Mink, and this has been 3 Mans, $5. I hope you've enjoyed us. Happy Halloween, and I'll see you next time.